Hello and welcome back to Courage Dear Heart. This is Charli Wall. I'm really chuffed that you're here listening to this podcast. This episode is going to be a live coaching demo, and I have a few of those that will be coming up during the course of the next few podcast episodes. I have some amazing guests to share with you as well, but I wanted to share this coaching demo with you because this lovely lady is talking about feeling invisible and being crippled with anxiety and self-concern. And it seems to be something that a lot of the ladies who come into my community experience. And if you listen to this, I'd love for you to just notice as you listen how she settles down as we go through the coaching, and how she sees really beautifully that all thoughts and feelings are temporary. So if you want to watch the live version of that on actual video, that's in my free group called the Freedom Group, which is a female only community, which I'll link to in the show notes. If you'd like to get coaching for yourself and you don't mind it being live streamed in my free community and then coming onto my podcast, I can try and make it as anonymous as possible as it goes out. But you are very welcome. Just send me an email and let me know that you'd like to get some coaching. But for now, this is a coaching demo with a beautiful lady who struggles with not liking herself, not feeling good enough, and making herself invisible. So I hope you enjoy this. Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you.
So for those of you that don't know, we're live streaming into my free community on Facebook. Don't worry about your dog, Wendy, honestly.
Okay.
Don't worry. And Wendy has agreed to get coaching from me, and it's live streaming in the group. How are you feeling, Wendy?
Nervous, sick, heart's racing, dizzy.
All good.
Loving life.
Loving it, yes. Well, I really, really take my hat off to you, Wendy, because in the height of my anxiety, there's no way I would have been able to do this. So I really, really, really appreciate you for doing this. And I know it takes a lot of courage. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm hoping that I'm going to feel better as a result of it. But
well, God, no pressure then. So tell me, Wendy, what would you love to get coaching on?
Well, as I said in my message, I don't even know. I think at first, when I first saw it, and I think it was overcoming that being visible, that I think that was something that I could do it. I was in a place where I thought, oh, I can do that. I don't know why. I followed lots of people and stuff. I've always felt a connection to you and what you do. So I don't know.
My dog told you.
You said to me, oh, what do you want coaching on? I can just give you a list, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know in terms of one specific. I suppose that overwhelming, the wanting to be invisible all the time, feeling good enough, and sort of still trying to find my sort of sense of direction. I think those are the biggest things at the moment.
Okay. So we'll start with the feeling visible, and then we'll see where that takes us. How does that sound?
Okay.
So how does that show up for you? What's your experience of wanting to be invisible? How can you articulate that?
Well, it's just hiding physically, always wanting to hide physically from people, and just always when I'm in social situations, when I'm out of my comfort blanket environment, which is my home. Yes, but it's just wanting to hide, not feeling good enough, scared of being judged, all that really.
Okay, so doing this really is a step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, because I have spoken to you once before, haven't I?
Yeah.
And that was just one-to-one, and that was the first time I'd done anything like that. And then I remember afterwards you said, you do that selfies on Saturday, don't you? You said to me, do a selfie. I was just like, not a chance. Not a chance. And I keep looking, and I look at them week in, week out, week in, week out. And I try and get close to doing one. I've even done selfies in my phone now.
Wow.
To start to try to look at myself. So I've started doing that. And it just sounds so pathetic and weak.
Who's told you that?
Well, no, nobody's told me it. It's that feeling in me, isn't it? That's what the voice tells me. That it's just, it's so pathetic and weak that you haven't even got enough confidence in yourself to look at yourself. Yeah, and that hurts.
So just breathe that through. So do you think that's what it's about, is that you want to be invisible because you don't want people to look at you?
I don't know. It's fear, isn't it? It's fear, but I don't know what the fear is. I think, as I say, I think it comes back to this being judged of not being good enough. So I want to physically hide away.
Okay, so but there is some judgment on how you think you look from you?
Yeah, there always has been.
How long has that been going on?
I can remember a family photo being taken, and I was about 5 years old. My uncle was over from Austria, and it was my nana, my dad, the whole family. And we were all together for a family photo. And I don't know what happened, but I can just remember this crippling thing of being looked at and just wanting to hide away. That's my first memory of it.
And that stayed with you ever since?
Yeah, that, and then also I wonder, because I went through quite a traumatic experience, and I don't know because I was raped, so I don't know if it's that as well.
Okay. So Wendy, how is all this impacting on your life now?
Well, it's impacted all throughout my life, but I think it's that thing of that I'm 50, I'm 51 now, and now I want to overcome it, whereas before I've always let it rule me, I suppose. It's run me.
Yeah.
And then I think, well, how different could it have been? How different could it be? And I would love to get to a place where I can make more peace with myself before I pop off the earth wherever I go.
Okay. So how would life be different if you were able to put this particular feeling and thought down?
Well, I imagine I'd be a lot more relaxed. I would like to think that I would feel more comfortable in myself, because that's not something that I've been able to experience yet. And because I can't ever be comfortable with myself, I've not then been, then I can't be then comfortable with other people. And then people must have perceptions of me based on this thing that has ruled me, rather than actually being able to get to know me. Does that make sense?
What I'm hearing you say there, Wendy, is that you perceive that others outside of your home have some judgment on you based on what they currently see or not of you.
I think they have. I think people have done. I've sort of reverted more and more into myself, because I've been so uncomfortable in social situations and things, and that has led to them me excessively drinking, just using things to mask it. And then people will then form their judgments on me, like, oh, I'm the wild child, I'm this label, that label, rather than me.
Okay. So is that why you've been drawn to my work?
I think there's a bit of that. Yeah.
Okay. So you have a sense that your drinking may have caused other people to judge you, but you'd rather they see the real you, or what is that bit?
I don't think it's just drinking. Obviously, when I was younger, it was other things as well when I was out.
We grew up in the 90s, so right,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. I think I've been trying to escape myself so much that I've not been able to form relationships with others. I think that's a good way to put it.
Mm. So have you got any friends at the moment?
So I isolated myself quite a long time ago. So last time when we spoke, I would say I had one friend that she'd sort of tried to hold on to our relationship and has persisted. But I would say in the last year, I've definitely made more friends.
Oh, great. Okay. What have you put that down to?
So I got a job opportunity and moved 450 miles away with my only daughter that's a child, and sort of went to do that whole fresh start in a beautiful, wild, remote location.
Okay. All right. So and this is recently, right?
Yes, I left here in April.
Okay. Are you still there?
Yeah, I've come back down for Christmas.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you moved in April and you've made some more friends that are local to you.
Yeah, I've made work friends for the first time, and yeah, people in the village. For some reason, I don't know if it's because it's been fresh. I don't know what's happened, but for some reason, yeah, this year I've managed to build new relationships.
So it could be that it's fresh, or it could be that you are experiencing yourself differently because people don't know you.
Yeah.
Which means all that's changed is your relationship to your thinking about yourself
Okay.
in those moments.
Uh-huh.
Because if it were true that you were this universally judged woman, then you would be universally judged.
Uh-huh.
Your experience of that is coming from your thinking about your judgment on yourself.
Yeah.
So when you moved, you thought no one will have any judgment on me because they don't know who I am.
Yeah, they were just meeting me as I am today.
Yes. And who are you today? Today, right in this moment, Wendy, who are you?
Well, I'm just me.
Without the backstory, without the history, without the judgment,
Yeah.
who are you?
I'm going, who am I? I'm just Wendy, aren't I? Known as Wendy.
Yeah, but in this moment, right, are you your past?
No, I'm my present.
Yeah. So you've been able to establish friendships, but your perception of that is purely, I'm guessing, because they don't know your
yeah.
past. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still like you.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
So
And I don't seem to mind, and I don't seem to be minding so much because I have had an experience where somebody has taken sort of quite an instant dislike to me. And for some reason, I don't see that doesn't seem to be bothering me so much either.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think that's amazing because I've tried to, for some reason, I'm not trying to please. I still was a little bit, and I still was a little bit submissive and then trying to sort of please and sort of bring around and sort of try and show me to her and hope that then she does like me. But that was quite brief.
So now what you're experiencing is it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the fact that it's possible with this person who appeared to have taken an instant dislike, do you think it's possible for you to not care so much about other people?
For some, I think it is possible, but I don't know why I care so much about everybody to do with my past.
Mm. So these people are not in your life anymore?
No.
So what's happening is that the memories coming into your head, and then you're experiencing shame and fear.
Yeah.
When you think about these people from your past.
Yeah, or if I say, for example, if I was to go into, because we live in a small, it's a small area. So if I was to go to town and see people, I would,
So now that you're at home for Christmas, if
Yeah.
you were to go, so you don't experience any of this in your new place?
No.
Okay. And now you've come back home for Christmas and you're feeling fearful, anxious, concerned.
Yeah, well, I want to hide away more here. It sort of comes back.
Sorry for all the questions. I'm just trying to get a feel for like how it is for you. Are you staying now?
No, I'm at my home. So I still have my home. I've kept my home just to be sensible, which is unlike me, because I wanted to sell it and just move up to the Highlands on a whim. But I decided to be sensible and do a year. And then, so yeah, we're home.
Okay. So do you go out much to, test your theory?
What do you mean?
Have you been going out much? Because what I mean by your theory is that you believe if you go out, you're more scared, but you're more scared in your current environment geographically, in case you bump into people. Have I got that right?
Yeah. I've not been out yet. We only got back last night.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Yes, this is making sense now because you said on your message you drove back 10 hours or something.
Yeah.
So as you drove towards where you currently live, how were you feeling?
Confused. Yeah.
What was the confusion?
I don't know. Just I think I'm still in a place where I'm deciding where's best for me to be, weighing things up.
Okay. So what was you, when you were sort of driving back, were you feeling a longing to be back?
No. I want to see my adult children. I want to have a nice Christmas with them. It's nice to be in my own home, but around here, no.
What's your intuition telling you, Wendy, about this? Like, what's your literal gut reaction? Forget about all the, what if, if onlys and all that. What's your gut telling you?
About what? About this session or about...
No, about where you want to be in your life, where you want to live.
I don't know. I really don't. That's what I'm trying to find. That's what I'm trying, because there's so many external things to take into account. The financial things, my daughter's school, my job. But I love being, obviously my children as well. And then, and obviously the guilt of sort of not being here for my adult daughter. So there's a lot, and she needs a lot of support. But where do I love to be? I love to be there with I love being there.
That is what I would follow. But the sort of deeper thing, the deeper part that I'm hearing is that you're not trusting yourself. You're trying to worry and care about everyone else before yourself. And you've got this sort of added pressure, internal pressure of what everyone thinks of you and your fear around that.
Yeah, I think because, because I've got four children. I don't have any parents. Their dad died. My other one doesn't see her dad because he was, sort of violent and abusive. So I suppose for so long, because of my circumstances and because you're a mum, have I sacrificed myself for my children? I don't know. I just know I've not been present for a lot of it, just spinning, trying to do it all and bring them up. But really, I look back and I think I've just spent decades spinning. But then I suppose I felt like I should sacrifice myself for my children because I'm all they've got, and isn't that your job as a parent? But at what point do you go, well, to what level do you sacrifice yourself? Where's that line?
What answer have you come up with?
I haven't yet. That's what I'm trying to get to.
There's lots here, isn't there? No wonder you couldn't think of one thing. So, talking to you as a parent of a 22-year-old, having literally been very similar, spinning through anxiety, I would say energetic leadership is what they need. And what that comes from within you is that place that you can go to within you that knows you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you can get in touch with that for yourself, the more you will speak to that in them. And I never did that with my son, and I'm course correcting now. And I spoke a little bit about that on the video about how I healed from my own trauma.
Yeah.
But you living your own truth will be what guides them to live theirs.
Mm-hmm.
You energetically living and leading from your own truth, knowing that they're okay as well. If we don't know we're okay, we buy into their stories that they're not. If we don't know we're okay, we'll want to get validation in some way from being what they need us to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't energetically lead from that place. And there's no judgment here. This is about, like you say, we do the best that we can. And when we're spinning, we're like, no one's taught us this. No one's taught you this.
Mm-hmm.
So you getting in touch with your own okayness and your own truth and living from that place wherever you live is irrelevant, because you trusting yourself to know what's best for you will energetically radiate out to your children and anyone else in your field. And once there, Wendy, those other people that you're scared of, they won't matter anymore, because it doesn't actually matter.
And I know.
I know that you know kind of academically, but I used to have this as well, where I'd get this memory come in and I'd feel like, oh God.
Yeah.
Such shame about things that I'd done or said or been, whatever I'd been and done and said. But it was only me torturing myself because I was insecure, because I was anxious, because I didn't know who I was, because I thought my being needed other people to like me, not realizing that most people are struggling anyway. And actually we're only judging ourselves through our own lens. Does that bit make sense?
Yeah.
So you connecting to that place in you, regardless of whether you can do a selfie or not, it's about how you relate to yourself and where you're looking outside of yourself for stability and grounding. Now, what's important here, Wendy, is that you have created a space up wherever you're living with your youngest, where those things aren't apparent, where you've made friends, so that fears are subsided a little bit. But that's because of you, not because of anything else. It's because you aren't worrying about what other people think so much because you're in a new place.
Yeah.
So without all that thought, the absence of that creates your experience. Does that bit make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you hearing in that?
Well, so I'm wondering then, is it possible to feel what I feel there? Why isn't it possible feel what I feel there here?
Yes, it is.
Because that's what I'm hearing from you, that it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
That's exactly right. Right. So if the absence of all of that fear and shame and dread and worry about what other people think, without that, the absence of that, which constricts you, weighs you down, you're open, you've got friendships, you're amazed at yourself, you said, like, you attaching to certain labels as well, like you said they were labeled. I'm doing this with my hands because this is your past, right? This is your present. You also said it's good for me, it's unlike me. So there's certain things that you're attaching to and certain labels that you are attaching what the people in your past think of you. They don't exist now, do they?
No.
So I've been a muppet, a dickhead, a bitch, I've done all the things. Is that who I am now?
No.
You could probably say the same. In innocence, you may have done things and said things that you wouldn't normally say.
Yeah, unintentionally. I always say I unintentionally.
Yeah, right. Separate realities. Is that who you are, though?
No.
So you up in the highlands, absent of any thinking, means you have an experience where you make friends. Where you're living, where you've come home to, if you weren't carrying this backpack of worry and judgment on yourself, you would be absent of that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely entirely possible for you to walk with your head held high around your current place that you are and not be full of self-concern. If you can see that piece, the absence of that, you think it's the environment. I'm up in the highlands, all those people are not there. I don't have to worry. You think it's coming from outside of you. It's coming from inside and your relationship to yourself there and there. If anyone's listening to this on the audio, I'm using my hands to indicate where she's in the highlands and her past sort of self. It's the absence of thought.
Yeah. So I wonder, I don't know why then I feel goody, more good enough. I'm doing my hands now. I don't know why I feel, because I don't feel good enough, but I feel more good enough there than here.
What do you put that down to?
Well, again, it's all that stuff that I'm carrying around, isn't it?
Yeah. You're free. So the absence of
Yeah.
that thinking is lighter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have a sense of, because you're not carrying this backpack and wearing it and identifying with it.
Yeah.
You're carrying yourself differently. So you haven't got as many thoughts, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Internally generated. So I'm gonna get you to look at that in this way. So at the beginning of this call, how did you feel?
Well, yeah, I felt sick, didn't I? My heart was racing. Yeah, dizzy. Yeah, I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to do it, you know. I just didn't want to. Out for 2 minutes. Sorry, my daughter's just come in. I said to her, I'll let you know when I'm free. And she's upstairs and come in.
Don't worry, it's all good.
Yeah, so, but I feel very different now.
Okay, so the circumstance is the same.
Yeah.
You're still live.
Uh-huh.
It's still me and you getting coaching. What's different if the circumstances are the same?
Well, I've just relaxed, haven't I? And all those thoughts, I've let go of all those thoughts that I was thinking.
Exactly. So that means, firstly, the anxiety moved through you very quickly. You weren't attached to it. You weren't identified with it. It was very real and very present. And the future conversations seemed very scary.
Mm-hmm.
In it, present, absent of all the worry and concern, you are okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the circumstances are the same. So if you think about environment, it looks to you like you feel better out of your current place because the people are different, the house is different, the job's different.
Yeah.
That's what you think is causing you to feel different. It's not that. It's literally your thinking about that, because someone else might carry the same worries and fears and isolate themselves in their home, even if they moved. The difference is you, because you've got it within you 100% of the time to be okay. You just didn't know that.
So is it literally just putting yourself in that, and like you said, just breathing and just letting it go rather than holding on to it?
Yes.
And letting it rule me.
Well, yeah, because you're identifying with it, right?
Yeah.
So what you experienced in this time frame that we've been in for the last however long we've been in it is that you can have anxiety and still be okay because it passed through you, because you weren't attached to it.
Yeah.
You've allowed yourself to be led by me in this space, which means it moved on.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to talking to me, you might have felt sick for quite some time. So what that means is, if I'm not attached to something, if I'm not making it like I am Wendy and I am anxious, I am Wendy and I experience anxiety sometimes, but it's not who I am. So I can also experience joy and laughter and fun and moments of peace and tranquility, as well as moments of fear and rage and all the things, right? Because you can experience all of it, and none of them are who you actually are. Who you are is the one experiencing them all and making them mean something about you or not. And you've carried this for a long time, Wendy. So a lot of this is very strongly neurologically wired. And a thought believed is a belief, becomes a belief. And that's a belief system, which can also be called BS, which can also be called bullshit as well.
Yeah.
There's freedom available to you if you can see that in any moment you can experience anything, and it all comes from the inside out, and nothing comes from outside of you, your circumstances, your environment, your job, or the people. But when you hold on to those beliefs that other people are right about you, even if they're wrong, and they very often are, your thinking may also be wrong about that. Because we make up a lot of shit and then we live in it. We swim around in it and we don't think we're okay.
It's very strange.
What's strange?
I don't say, it's just that I feel okay.
It's maybe strange for you because you didn't know that you could get there in a moment where you were severely anxious 20 minutes before.
Yeah.
So what if I were to tell you that place of okayness is there 100% of the time? You have access to it.
I just need to learn how to tap into it, isn't it then? Or is it not?
Well, that's one way. But if you, the way I would see that, if I've got to learn how to tap into it, it means that I'm not 100% convinced that it's there 100% of the time.
Okay.
It means that I think there's something to do for me to learn because there's something missing, and there's nothing missing.
Right. Okay.
The learning or the unlearning is that you don't have to pay attention to the shitty committee, in which case it will pass through. And the okayness is what you'll be left with, because that is your default. That's what you were born with. Hasn't gone anywhere. You weren't born worrying about what the baby next door thought of you. You were just free.
Yeah.
So all that stuff you've learned innocently, because no one's taught you who you actually are underneath all of that. I guess the learning, if there is one, is to really learn that your connection to self has always been there, will always guide you, has always got your back. And anything that takes you away from wellness, the shitty committee, the anxiety, the whatever you're experiencing that makes you feel uncomfortable, is lying, taking you away from home base, not true, made up, based on old stories, old fears. And it's not to say that this awful stuff hasn't happened. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's saying that you don't have to be defined by those things that happened in the past. You've already got a calling, you said in the beginning, like, I want to, experience life differently.
Yeah.
That's because inside you knows there is a way to do that.
Is that just me setting myself free?
Yeah, not listening to your conditioning, not listening to your shitty committee. That's it. We're the only ones that can save ourselves, ironically.
Yeah.
We look outside all the time. I mean, I don't know if you do know, but I think you do. I moved, I sold everything, moved away, went to live, isolated myself even further. I thought that was the answer. After all of my seeking, all the years, I realised it'd always been in me, and as cliched as that sounds, like Dorothy, the Wizard of Oz, clicking my old red shoes. We just don't know that it's there.
But sometimes we have to do these things to see that it's there.
I think life presents you lessons, lessons that are opportunities to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happened here, that gut intuition that you got to message me to say yes, even though it went against every anxious cell in your body to do that, was because there was something that for you to see here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe someone else, which I think undoubtedly it will be.
I hope so.
Well, I hope for you that you listen back or you hear the truth of what I've been pointing to, that you yourself pointed to. You just didn't realize you were pointing to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm still a little bit shocked that it sort of came through and went. So, yeah.
Possibility, potential, ease. Ease is on my mirror.
Uh-huh.
Because it can be so much easier. Like it was, you didn't do anything, did you, for it to go?
No. No.
I remember when I was in the sort of beginning of this learning process, one of my mentors shoved me a microphone and put it in my face. And because in a group, it was the second year of my learning. And so at this point, the first year I spent behind the screen, not showing my face to anyone. The second year, I actually went to some of the events and he put a microphone in my place and tried to get me to speak. And I was just like, and I realized in that moment, I don't know what I said, it doesn't matter. I was like, oh, this anxiety is showing up for me and it passes and I'm okay. Nothing's happened. Nothing bad happened. It was my first time of experiencing it showing up out of my control, like someone shoves this microphone in my face. He did it on purpose. I wouldn't, that's not how I would coach, but you know, what it did for me in that moment was it got me to experience the fear, the anxiety, and still be okay. It's our fear that keeps it hanging around of like, what's, you know, what do we need to do to keep ourselves safe? We feel out of control and we want other people to like us. And what you experienced was you felt all of that stuff and then it just went. And that's the nature of any experience. It moves, it's impermanent, it's changeable, always moving. Nothing stays the same except that place in here that's always, you've always known, the part of you that's always experienced every single second of your life. That's unchangeable.
Yeah, it's a new experience. I'm getting used to it.
Good.
And that came from me, did it? It wasn't.
It's nothing to do with me. It was all you.
Wow.
Goosebumps.
Oh, I don't know what to say now.
I think then in that case, Wendy, you should probably go and let that marinate
Yeah.
And try and stay in that experience of stillness. Because it doesn't sound like you've had that for a long time.
No. It's nice.
It is nice, I know.
Yeah, just settling into it, I suppose.
I appreciate we've been talking for 50 minutes. I didn't realise that was the time.
Sorry.
No, it's not for you to apologise. I'm present when I do these, so I don't look at the time or anything like that, or the group, but I very much appreciate your time.
No, thank you. Thank you.
And it's been really lovely to see you again.
You too. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Courage, Dear Heart. I really appreciate it. It would be amazing if you could leave me a review and press subscribe so that others who are looking to find freedom from anxiety and habits can find their way here. You can also go to my website, iamcharliewall.com, and subscribe, sign up for my emails, and you'll also find my Facebook group, Finding Freedom from Habits and Anxiety, on Facebook. So yeah, please do connect with me, and I'll see you next week.